back to Women Making Moves, where we celebrate the moves that women are making. My name is Amy Pons, founder of Unlock the Magic Coaching and Healing. I'm joined today with Alexis Frank. Alexis is the global leader helping women go from ordinary success to industry leader, a leadership mirror, cultural disruptor, and strategic partner to the women rewriting history. She has 3 beautiful brown children. She cut off family and friends who held her back. She's a biracial woman happily married to a black man. She's mouthy and unable to be silenced. She has 4 formal degrees and a lifetime of trial and error as her education. She ran for public office in a state that had hated her party and yet somehow loved her. She's a hip-hop dancer. She's an avid thriller and smut reader. She's literally one of the funniest people she knows. She's a projector. She's a September Virgo. Her life's work is to take full responsibility for the effect her aura has on others. She's here to counsel millions of people on relationship development. She's commanded stages in rooms people thought she didn't belong in. She's swayed the minds and hearts of those who never wanted to change. She's a living, breathing middle finger to the patriarchy so carefully crafted by white men. Everything she needs to know and everything she needs to have is already within her. She's undeniable. Her impact is inevitable. She's a liberator and New Age activist. There's nothing she cannot do. Alexis, welcome.
Hi. That was a mouthful, right?
That is probably my favorite bio I've ever read. Something that I talk about quite a bit is like the patriarchal bios seem very limiting and stale. And it's like, how do you possibly encapsulate who you are as a soul having a human experience in that kind of a format? So it's been a challenge for me for a long time. So I envy you. That's amazing.
Yeah, it came to me one day and I was like, I'm all of these things.
Yes.
I'm just gonna write it down and it feels good.
Yes, it's gorgeous. Especially and this is what Women Making Moves is about. I talk with women who are creating the existence we all deserve, and we'll never be one thing again. For me anyway, there's not like a definition of what that means or looks like every single day. I'm not the title company, that I used to be. So anyway, just huge kudos on your gorgeous bio.
Thank you. Thank you.
So getting into your energy, your vibe, in this unique time and space where so many humans on different levels are experiencing trauma, suffering, things they've never experienced in the past. Again, as an energy coach and as a soul energy healer, I zoom out sometimes and I look at the way that everything is unfolding. And of course, it's going to not feel good as it's unraveling. It doesn't mean that I don't understand and not acutely aware of how much it sucks right now, but it's also like having to get really that pinchy so that humanity can remember that 1, we're part of a collective consciousness, and 2, we're actually, and I always pick on the workplace, like the average workplace. The workplace was created, and you said this in your bio, by white men and from the auto industry and based on the man's productivity cycle of 24 hours, which is not a woman's. And I'm sure you've seen all of the data around at this point. If we take into account all women that have left the 9 to 5, it's probably around 1 million now, this year. So because they're being ousted or forced out or jobs are being eliminated, all this, because I feel like the systems put in place, or the well-intentioned rather, and I want your thoughts on this, the well-intentioned programs or initiatives that were put in place since the Constitution was signed, it still didn't include all humans. So I look at the workplace as kind of like a house of cards. Anything that was created after the fact that isn't in that deep-rooted foundation is going to fall like a house of cards because it's still, the roots are still those systems that didn't include us.
Yeah. I think that it's so funny because when you say it that way, I think of this play that I was in. I was in a musical. I did so much in junior high school. And I was in this musical and I played this extra. And it was my job to be in the crowd in this trench coat. And one of my very few lines that year was to be a woman and to talk to the men who were making the rules. And I was like, but the Constitution says that all people were created equal. That was my line. And then the boys and the men on the stage all together said, no, it says all men
Yep.
are created equal. And I don't know why I never forgot that specific moment in this play that I was in. But the Constitution wasn't thinking about women. The Constitution wasn't thinking about men of color.
Mm-mm.
Constitution wasn't thinking about anybody but white men. And so it's kind of frustrating even when it comes up today when people are trying to argue like, well, this is what our founding fathers wanted. Our founding fathers owned people.
Right.
Like our founding fathers didn't have what it is that we have. And they wanted to change things because they had evolved from the people that they had separated from. So would they not want us to evolve the same way? And even if they didn't want us to evolve, why do we still put so much of our hopes and dreams on men that died 300 years ago? Like,
Yeah.
they couldn't even fathom the world that we live in. Why do we cater so much to what a bunch of older men who don't even who would never even understand the concept of the internet? Why are we still catering to their needs after they've been long gone?
People are like, well, Amy, do you want to like do away with the Constitution? I'm like, kind of. Like, what does it serve? I mean, it took years later for there to be an amendment to even identify non-landowners and women as human beings.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, white women. So no, it doesn't serve the book and over half of the humans that are here now,
Yeah.
specifically. And so what I like to think could or should or maybe could have happened is like, I don't know, every 2 to 3 years, the Constitution is modernized, whatever that looks like. And people could say, well, yeah, there's amendments. No, I'm talking about the original document that everything stands upon. Because
Yeah.
once it's codified, but it's like, do we need a constitution and all of that? So while I don't agree with the way everything's going right now, but at the same time, I have like a let 'em vibe where it's
Yeah.
like, let them dismantle everything.
Yeah.
Let them. And then we are creating the new, both with the energetic vibration that we hold, but also through the businesses that we're creating out here in the wild.
Yeah. We have to. I mean, and that was the issue that I was trying to solve within politics, that the political world thinks that they're ready for, but they're not actually ready for. These people say they want change. They don't. And so instead of trying to change the collective, we just focus on ourselves. Because when we focus on ourselves and we find our happiness, then our entire vibration changes. And then we become more magnetic. And then people actually come to us and say, I don't know how you did it, but I want to know and I want you to show me because I want some of that for myself. And then the domino effect. And as humans, how far have we really gotten telling other people what to do? And those people that you think that you improved by telling them what to do, how happy actually are they with you that you took them on a ride that they weren't ready to go on yet? Did you really get the desired outcome? Did you really get the intended result by telling people you should do things this way? And if there's anything that I've learned about being a human design projector and waiting for the invitation is wait for people who are ready to talk to you. Let them come to you. When we try to force ourselves onto other people, we're no better than, the people who try to force their religion on us and people who try to force, their outdated beliefs on us. Energetic laws teach us that ease and flow and abundance is our birthright. So if you're pushing people and it feels hard, that means it's not what you're supposed to be doing and you need to chill the hell out.
The moment you start forcing, and it's so divine. My newsletter is called The Lighthouse because I'm a lighthouse. Divinely, today I talked about how every time you force yourself into or feel beholden to people, places, and things that are not aligned with where you're trying to go or where you're wanting, you actually keep creating more of what you don't want, which is really hard because as humans, like we're like, what? How am I creating suffering for myself? Well, it gets to be both and. I'm not suggesting that it's like stepping outside of the ego. It's like, okay, outside of your ego, how are you participating And maybe we
Yeah.
can expand this to the systems too. How are you participating in the systems that don't include, well, like a lot of humanity, but
Yeah.
also how are you forcing yourself to participate in those? Because does it align? Have you dropped into your body? Do you feel inside of your body and how it feels? What is a hell yes versus a hell no? Do you even know what that feels like?
Yeah.
And that's beautifully what you just said. I'm a manifesting generator. So
Okay.
so I love it. Like we would be, I think, probably a great team. And I spent 20 years in corporate America. I don't know
Mm.
if you knew that. So before I remembered that I am a clairsentient, claircognizant energy healer, and
Mm.
people are like, "Wait, you're a corporate executive and now you're a healer. What? What?" I was like, "Well, actually, I was masquerading as a corporate executive. I was
Okay.
always, I was always this coach and healer because I have that unique brilliance about me that I already know where you're going, and I take you there on your time frame."
Mm.
Kind of like to your point, like not mine. It's not about me. It's about you see the light in me. It resonates. And then you're like, okay, come with me. Great. Let's go. But I'm really teaching you how to find it in yourself when you're ready.
Yeah. And that's the point of guidance. It's not to say you need to go over here. It's to say, well, where do you want to go? What is the vision that you have for your life? Okay, how are we going to get you there in the way that feels the best for you? This is never about what I wanted. This is never about what anybody else wanted. This is about rediscovering who you were before systems told you who else to be and resetting you to factory settings, right? Turning you off, turning you back on. Because I mean, that's the point of all of this is to remember who you were before you were conditioned to be someone else, before you were trying to keep up with the Joneses, before you were trying to impress people you don't even like, before you started doing all of this extra stuff that you don't really want to participate in or be a part of anyway, and giving yourself permission to be whoever you want to be, reminding yourself that it's never too late to be who you want to be, reminding yourself that you're never too old or you're never too young to put yourself on the exact trajectory you want to go on, and that it's okay. And literally, if people have a problem with it, they don't have a problem necessarily with you. They have a problem with the mirror that you're holding up, and they have a problem with the fact that they don't feel comfortable enough to choose themselves the way that you are. And that just ain't got nothing to do with you.
Our light triggers so many people.
Mm. So just
And
part of
it's
it.
just part of it. And the thing is, I'm a truth teller
Mhm.
and I'll always ask for consent because I'm always getting I can read energy, but I'll always ask, oh, may I share something I'm feeling? Or may I share something from one of your guides that's dropping in for me? But also, I know how they're going to receive it. It's something that immediate that drops in that's like, nope,
Yeah.
don't tell them that.
Don't even know it.
They're not yet. No.
Yeah.
And I feel it. And this is what prompted my newsletter today. I feel it from people that have historically really loved me.
Mm.
They're, the disdain for me stepping into my light
Yeah.
is not only so transparent, they're so frustrated with me. And the moment I feel that, I'm like, okay, now I get to discern
Yeah.
how much of my proximity or energy is taken up with this individual, and I get to choose that. So sometimes people will come into your life as a lesson, sure, but then the moment that it's happening over and over again where you feel like you're dimming something every time, you get to choose
Yeah.
discernment.
Oh, 1,000%. And I don't think that enough people recognize that they are fully in control over who has accessibility to them. When I was solely focused on helping eldest daughters heal, that was where I went before I understood the bigger umbrella of how patriarchy and capitalism plays all of this roles. And trying to tell eldest daughters, like, you don't have to answer the phone when your parents call. You know that you don't have to pick up your sister's kids. You know that you don't have to constantly be covering down for people. What? Because they're family. If somebody is abusing you, if somebody is using you for their need, you have every power to say, no, actually, I'm not going to do that for you anymore. No, I'm not going to behave the way that you want me to behave anymore. And again, this goes back to the point of who are we being because other people need us to be that person. And I had so many women come into this work, and when I'd ask them, like, who are you and what do you really want? They couldn't answer. And they spent so much time talking about who they didn't want to be that they had no clue who they actually wanted to be. And they were so busy running away from what they didn't want. They had no direction on where they were going. And they ended up running in a circle and becoming the exact people that they didn't want to be. And it
Right, because that's all they were focusing on.
all they were focused on, and it all came down to who you allow in accessibility wise into your life. It all came down to I gave all of these people access to me that I didn't really want to be. And then when we're talking about, well, I don't understand how I keep attracting the things that I don't like, because you're giving those things accessibility to you. You're allowing it in every part of your life, and then that's how that translates into your business, because now you've got clients that act just like your parents. You've got clients that act just like your annoying sibling because you've allowed people to walk all over you. You think that that's what's normal. You think that's how it's supposed to be. You don't know any other way, and you don't know how to get away from it. And the first step to getting away from it is deciding who you're not going to allow to have access to you anymore, and deciding who you want to be, not just who you don't want to be. Who are you? What do you really want? What do you really want to focus on?
Whew. And that's what I fell into in corporate America was I grew up in a domestic violence home. And so all I knew, all I felt comfortable or familiar with was not only feeling less than, but being beaten down both physically and emotionally, mentally every day. So that felt familiar. That felt safe. So I, of course, created more of that for myself until I turned 40. And I turned 40, I was like, wait,
Right?
like, whoa, I'm a healer and a warrior.
Mm,
How has that shown up in my life? And it wasn't anywhere. And
yeah.
so what that looked like for me was, I'm not going to say it was easy, because certainly you care about people, care about your livelihood. But right off the bat, I saw that my family, some of my dearest friends, and my job, none were serving me and actually perpetuating. And so I slowly kind of let those fade away. Wasn't
Yeah.
easy, wasn't easy. And I'm probably labeled something at this point. And it's like, okay, but I've never felt more alive in myself
Yeah.
because I remembered who I was before I got here. And whatever you subscribe to, for me, it's soul plane. We sign up for things to experience as a human. We get here and then catapulted into the systems. I wonder the very first time you were told especially as a young girl, cross your legs, that's not ladylike. Don't yell, that's not ladylike. Raise your hand when you want to talk.
Yeah.
Ugh. Like that just makes me cringe. That's like the earliest times. The
Yeah.
moment you were told not to do something. I'm curious how you feel about that as a parent.
Well, first of all, anything that's ladylike absolutely disgusts me.
Like, fuck all the way off.
I don't fucking care. Like,
What does that even mean?
I know that's not ladylike. I don't care. I don't care. I got a belch. Get over it. And I've always been a tomboy. I really didn't get into lady stuff until I had like girlfriends when I joined the army. And the only reason I even take my lady self seriously now is because my daughters like this stuff. And I'm like, okay, face care it is. I guess we got to make sure we take care of our face skin. Like, I can't survive on neglect anymore. But even things like school dress code, I'd be wanting to fight because it's not, well, we want to make sure that, the girls feel safe or anything. No, the whole idea of school dress code is still, well, we don't want your daughter showing too much, leg or stomach as to not distract the boys. And I'm like, but I have a son. Okay. And when I ask him, Avery, when you see a girl and she's got shorts on, can you not pay attention in class? He's like, no, I'm not paying any attention to her. And it's like, you're now projecting your adult disgusting ways onto these children. And I have a son and I've taught him how to respect women. And now you're trying to say that my daughter can't have her freedom of expression with her wardrobe and how she wants to dress because she's going to be distracting a boy. You're teaching her that 8 years old, that her presence does too much for a boy, that he can't be held responsible for his own actions. And it frustrates me because I also vicariously heal myself through my daughters. I wasn't allowed to dress like that. So of course I'm letting them wear the crop tops. They're adorable. Like my oldest daughter, she dances hip hop. She's so good. She's moving her body in a way that I wasn't allowed to move my body. I allow her to dress in a way that feels freeing for her, but weird people sexualize. And I'm like, I'm not going to continue to buy into that narrative, but you make it awfully difficult when you are still spewing the same trash from decades ago. What are you going to say next? That I can't show my ankles? What is your problem? Stop making little girls responsible for the fact that you don't know how to teach a boy how to take responsibility for his eyes and his action, and stop curbing the natural creativity that comes with being a woman and our natural feelings and our natural flows. Like when I'm not on my cycle, I don't wear underwear. I don't like it. It drives
Same.
I hate it. My daughter, she's getting to that stage where she's like, I don't want to wear any either. And I'm like, cool. When you have a skirt on, you know that you have to wear shorts on underneath that. But underneath your shorts, you don't want to wear drawers. You don't have to wear drawers. And in our house, we're very open. My son, for some reason, wants to have the most life-altering conversations with me when I'm trying to take a shower. Am I going to turn him away and say, no, you can't talk to me right now? He feels safe in my presence here, and it's fine. He also knows that you can't just go and watch a random woman take a shower. But it's like, I'm going to teach my children how to feel safe, how to feel comfortable, how to feel respected, and how to respect other people. But I'm not going to, piss in their cereal because somebody else doesn't want to be an adult and have these conversations with their children. For what? To be ladylike and all this shit is made up. And I don't subscribe to it.
And what that looks like now, I'm an elder millennial. And what it has looked like is that as I have grown up and I look at the women in the generations before me, women are taught to take full responsibility for not just men's actions, but everyone's actions. Like women are in charge, but yet we can't be the really big roles, right? Like president and all that.
Too emotional.
But yet we're in charge of everything. Anyway, and you bring up an excellent point about wardrobe. This is what we have created. And I feel that millennial is the first generation that are like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
We're like, absolutely not. I don't subscribe. I feel so kindred with you about mouthiness, and I won't be silenced. And this has happened in family. Someone will say to a little precious girl, look at those thunder thighs. And I'm like, is it thunder thighs or is she healthy? Because she hears that. People don't realize our chakras, our energy centers start to formulate in utero. And then those cells, that energy is listening. And so that got embedded in her. And that makes me sad. So as babies, we don't even realize that you're shaming a baby. People are like, oh, it was a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, but her body hears it. So what if we were to say, look how healthy she is?
Yeah. And as for me too, especially with my girls, it was so important for me. Like my youngest, she was 10 pounds, 3 ounces when she was born.
Yes, queen.
She
Yes.
was so chunker. So her nickname is Chunky, but she knows her real name is Audie, whatever. But I also didn't want my kids to have unhealthy relationship with the scale the way that I have historically as a woman. So I keep it away, but now I'm in the point in my life where I'm fixing my gut health and my hormonal health. So I'm not weighing myself every day to see if I've lost weight. I'm weighing myself to make sure I'm the same weight because I'm not in a position to lose weight right now for my hormonal health. But they see that. And my daughters love stepping on the scale and seeing how much more they weigh. Every time they're like, oh, Mommy, and last night my daughter got on and she was 44.4 pounds and I was like, 444. And I was like, look at you. You're so amazing. And I celebrate how strong they are. And because my daughter's a hip hop dancer, she's got this. And I have to be mindful too, not to be like, can I have your body? Because I don't want her to think that I think negatively of my body. But I'm like, you've got these shoulder boulders. You've got this amazing athletic body. You are incredible. You are strong. You are powerful. And I celebrate you when you grow because I remember being my daughter's age and being so afraid to get to 60 pounds. I was like, I don't want to be 60 pounds. What happens when I get to 60 pounds? And once I got over 60 pounds and I was like, I don't want to be 100 pounds. I don't want to fear that. And so I celebrate them and I celebrate all of their growth, all of their strength. When they come outside and they pick up the little 3-pound weight and they're going like this. And I'm like, look at how strong you are because none of this defines you. None of this determines who you are and how powerful you are and how strong you are. And I do the same with their standardized testing. I hate standardized testing. And so I write them each a note and I'm like, none of this is real. None of this has anything to do with how smart or how brilliant you are. They just want to know what you know so that they can determine how much money to give your school next year. So do the best you can, leave the rest, and don't worry about it because I know that you know what you're doing. And that's it. And you're right. As millennials, we've decided that half of this is bullshit. Enough is enough. We're not going to treat our children the way that we were treated. We're not going to hold them to the same standards we were held to. And there are people out there losing their minds about how Gen Alpha is being raised. And I'm like, but guess what? They're free. I'm free. And I don't really care.
I love millennials for those of us that are like, no, thank you. And
Mm-hmm.
I love Gen Z that it's like, I'm not even going there with you. And then alphas, like they came out of the womb ready to fuck shit up. But actually that's probably more Gen Z. But alphas, I love that they don't know the world that we grew
Mm-hmm.
up in or like the copy paste that we were forced to conform to. It
Yeah.
just feels like they don't know that. And so it's
Yeah.
like, yes. Now, with that said, there's still millennials that are copying and pasting, and I'm sure they're teaching their alphas to copy and paste. But the new paradigm, for those who vibe with astrology, this whole cosmic consciousness awakening started in March this year,
Yeah.
and our DNA is getting upgraded. So you're going to start to realize, wait, why doesn't the old copy paste feel good anymore? Why doesn't the old paradigm feel good anymore? It's because it's not meant to, and we're ushering in literally a new age.
Yeah.
So that's what we vibe with. Oh, Alexis, oh my gosh. Whew.
Such a
I
fulfilling conversation to have.
when you both get it, and it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, it feels amazing. I'll have to check out where we both live to see if we're anywhere close to each other.
You're right.
Um, so what moves are you excited to be making? What's coming up for you right now, whether it be in business, your family, as a full unsilenced woman?
Hmm. I am enjoying helping other women be mouthy the way that I am, the way that they've always known they could be, but they felt silenced by it. I actually recently just launched this Institute of Unlearning where I teach people how to dismantle patriarchy in their parenting and how they're marketed to, like recognizing how they are being sold to in a way that takes advantage of them. And no longer believing that your value is tied to how much you produce for other people or your labor is worth more than your inherent value as a human. No, when you dismantle those beliefs, you get rid of the systems. Don't worry about the mechanics of how these systems work. You get rid of the beliefs, the system falls. It's too easy. And so helping people learn that on an individual level through this institute is something that I'm excited that exists in the world through this kind of online learning center. And then as soon as I launched that, I just got this download to do a masterclass for projectors who own businesses. And you were talking about the new paradigm shift. I subscribed really harshly to the human design paradigm shift, which is supposed to come in Q1 of 2027. And at that point, projectors everywhere, people are going to really start to look to us for guidance. And I'm like, we only have one full calendar year left for more projectors to come online, to recognize their power, to understand where they stand, and for industry leaders to start to look to them for answers. And so I'm excited because I've gotten this clarity that as much as I love working with my generator clients, and I've only had a couple of ManiGen clients. You guys don't really flock to me as much as my generators, but I've just fallen in love with helping other projectors see how innately powerful they are, seeing how good they feel, not working so hard, charging the prices that they charge, feeling good about the work it is they do, and stepping into their power, and recognizing that all of the clients, if 85% of the clients that I want to take on over the next year, year and a half, I want them to be projectors because I need them to stand in their power. I need them to be visible so that this shift, this inevitable shift that is coming, it doesn't hit so hard. And as projectors too, we get to say, no, actually, I'm not going to help this person over here. Just because you're giving me an invitation doesn't mean I have to be accessible to you, and helping them come online. And so I've really leaned into that just over the past like 3 days. And I've gotten like 5 women already who've signed up for this masterclass. And they're just like, I'm ready. And it also feels good to stand in a place where I don't have to dumb down what I'm saying in order to speak to people. Because that's something that we tend to do a lot as projectors too, is we want to talk to everybody because we know that we can help everybody. We're just those people. Like if you just asked me, I could have fixed your entire life in a minute, but you ain't asked me. And so we dumb down what we're saying to reach all the audiences instead of speaking to the people who are ready to be heard. And speaking to these people who have already leveled up so much in their consciousness and now they're ready to move even further, but they're like, I don't really know where to go from here, or I don't want to follow a strategy from somebody else. Like, I want it to feel bespoke to me. I want to know me even more. Because I think that's what happens as we grow in our consciousness. It becomes more about us. It's more like, how can I be better about me? How can I do more about me? Because when we heal that, that's when we heal the collective consciousness.
Exactly. Choosing us,
Mhm.
and this is also something that's historically been hard for women under those systems. Choosing us first allows us actually to birth the new existence for all humanity. So I always remind, like, no big deal. We're just birthing the new existence.
Yeah.
So it's exhausting. So then there's a lot of different things. And I totally hear what you're saying, that I'm not interested in like explaining, depending on what it is. And it's interesting you say, like, I just launched Magic School this week, which is reigniting your intuition. So helping women turn back into themselves.
Yeah.
And we talk about chakras and clairs and all these gifts beyond the human that we've always had, but we've forgotten. And it's just getting in touch with your own unique voice
Yeah.
before anybody else said anything otherwise. So I love that we're creating both of these. And it sounds like yours is they're awake, they're conscious, but then they want to take a next step into their business, which is beautiful. It's so interesting that you bring up marketing. That's what I did for 20 years. It was in corporate marketing. And so after a while, I'm like, wait, is marketing icky? As I was starting to wake up, we've been operating in pain point marketing.
For so long.
It's like, look what you don't have and
Yeah.
look how better you would be with it. Ooh, that doesn't
Yeah.
feel good.
So I actually, it's interesting. I talk about this inside of the Institute, and it's like marketing in and of itself is neutral. Marketing is simply saying, here's why you should believe in me. Here's why my cause deserves to be at the top of the pile. Even when you're teaching your children that telling the truth is the right thing to do, that's marketing. You're just trying to win people over. Advertising is manipulating your reach. And advertising is the use, it's turning all of your pain, your future problems, all of the issues that you could have, turning it into a product to use against you and trying to say that it's trying to help you. Advertising is, here we manufactured a problem for you to have, and we manufactured the solution, and then you will praise us for both. And marketing in and of itself isn't icky. It's how we exploit people with its use. It's how we exploit ourselves with its use. And it's how we tie our worthiness and our customers and our employees' worthiness to how we market. Marketing of itself isn't bad, right? You know, even when you lined up and you go into a market, there are people who are standing in front of their stalls like, hey, I've got the best peaches over here. It's when you start to say that person who's selling peaches over there is a horrible person and they use all of these bad things and they, beat on their wife and things like that. It's when you start to tear down other people, that's when it becomes icky. And that's when it starts to, I shouldn't feel one way or the other about the person who's selling my peaches. I just want to buy good peaches. And again, when the focus is on ourselves, and this is what I'm good at, and this is what I have noticed, and these are the results that I have created for my clients, you can have that too. That is okay. But when the focus becomes, you're downtrodden, you're not going to make it without me, everybody else is lying to you, that's when it feels icky. That's when it becomes manipulative.
I mean, that's the core of everything that I've unsubscribed to. If there's a power over anyone or anything, I don't vibe. It's
Yeah.
like, oh no, thank you. It's not the way I'm moving. It's not the way that I'm teaching or doing business. And it's not for me. So the power over is something that is also going to go away with the paradigm. We see it in real time. We see just how much people don't like not having power over.
Yeah.
We see it happening all day, every day in today's space and time. I want to go to a post based on especially what we just said about marketing. One of the core principles, do not rush your customer. The marketing bros will tell you you must get an answer on the call, that once they hang up, they're gone forever. It's a lie. And worse, it's manipulative. When you shove made up deadlines down someone's throat, you make your inability to run your business their responsibility. It's not your customer's job to keep your business afloat. I love this post because I took this from an energetic perspective. The moment you force someone in any way to book business with you, you have created an energetic mismatch.
Yep.
You created a shift in that energy.
Yep.
And so whenever I talk to any new clients, I always share, this is my pricing structure, this is my investment structure rather. This is the exchange I have come up with for my services, and I want you to share back transparently with me because I'm flexible. I want
Yeah.
to understand what is a hell yes for you
Hmm.
because I'm not interested in you forcing yourself into working with me. So, yes, I have a structure just to have something to go off of, but at the same time, it's always going to be a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, tell me more about this, especially when, like you, I meet business owners all the time, and there are still a lot of well-intended business owners that talk about getting into those DMs and like cold calling and doing all of the more of the forcing. Do you say anything in real time when someone brings that up to you?
I mean, it's so interesting. One of the first podcast interviews I did earlier this year was with he's a marketing bro. I mean, I'll give it to you. He's a standard white guy marketing bro. And he was like asking sales questions,
Yeah.
and I was giving him answers that he wasn't necessarily used to hearing, but he really enjoyed. I'm like, you want to run a successful business? Go figure out who you are. If you don't know who you are, you can't sell anything. Okay? Know who you are first. But he's the type of person who he's closed a lot of sales for people, and he gives this kind of advice like, you got to get an objection, handle all the objections and da 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 da. And I'm like, if you're handling objections, you haven't done your job building enough trust to begin with. It's not the objection, and stop harassing people. Like, what are you going to say to your spouse that's going to change your mind? How about I respect your marital unit and take all the time it is that you need? Because my offer, my program isn't going anywhere. And if it goes somewhere before you join, then it wasn't meant for you anyway. So much
Yes.
of what we do and the way that these marketing bros have built these platforms is through fake scarcity. It's through the idea that somebody's always running out of time. It's, oh, you have to hurry up and do this, you have to hurry up and do that. And I'm like, do not rush your customer. Do not rush them because you made up this deadline. Nobody's telling you that you have to close your doors in 2 weeks. And for most product based businesses, oh, well, hurry up. We only have 5 left. Bro, you've restocked like 6 times. This is a moneymaker for you. You will bring this back. Stop acting like you're running out of all of these things. But at the same time, remember where you are a human, right? If you are selling a service and you want to make sure that you are giving your full undivided attention to every single person who comes into this program, it is okay to say, I only have 5 spots because that's what I have capacity for. But it's not okay to say, doors are closing again. Honey, you have closed doors 15 times to this offer. You've closed doors 15 times to this evergreen offer. This offer not even going anywhere. It's $37. Am I supposed to feel some kind of way about this? Why are you lying? And so when you rush your customer, you're trying to get them to buy before their nervous system even realized what was happening. And then that's how you end up with buyer's remorse. That's how you end up resenting the person that you just bought from. And like you were saying, it dampens the energetic exchange. I had one client ever who I didn't give her a chance to think about it. I was like, why don't we go ahead and take this deposit today? She was like, okay, great. She fell out of the program a month later. It wasn't for her. And because I coach people to their human design, before you even come into my program, I know what your human design is because I'm going to help you make a decision based on your authority. And I have so many emotional authorities that come in, and I'm like, there's absolutely no reason why you should be making a decision on this call. You need to ride it out. And that's how I can respect you. And every time I do that, they come into my program because I gave them space, because I respected them as a person, because I didn't make them feel less than or that they couldn't trust themselves. I showed them how to trust themselves even more. And When you rush your customer, you're telling them that you don't trust them. When you rush your customer, you're telling yourself that you don't trust yourself.
Yeah, you don't trust yourself. You're becoming beholden to that scarcity, to that lack, to that
Mhm.
fear. It's giving yourself the audacity to trust yourself no matter what.
Yeah.
And that is something that we just did not learn. So,
No. And also remembering too that you can't just run around telling everybody to trust their gut. That's not how it works for me. My gut doesn't tell me anything. I don't have a defined sacral, but I am self-projected. So if I need to get clarity on something, oh, I'm gonna talk. And I'm a yammer and I'm a yammer. And it's almost like having a sacral response because I can feel the clarity coming through as I say it.
yeah.
Even I can feel it right before the sentence. I'm like, this next sentence is going to be exactly what I need to hear. And I can feel it coming out. But you can't run around telling everybody that. And sales has turned into farming sales and getting people to sign up in droves instead of respecting their unique humanity. And it's so important that I respect that in people. And it's so important for me with my clients that when I teach them how to build their programs and how to do their sales models, that they are also respecting their people and respecting their own capacity and respecting who they want to be. And it's some of the hardest things that they have to unlearn and undo. I don't do sales calls. You want to talk to me? You can pay me $350 for the 60 minutes and you can hop on. And the majority of people who hop on those $350 60-minute calls, then they come into my long-term work immediately after. I don't give away my time anymore because I know how precious it is. And I also know that as being a projector, you're going to feel seen by me in 60 minutes. If I gave you, because I used to do this, I used to give, oh, come, let's have like a 30-minute discovery call. All you need is 30 minutes with me, and you feel like you gotten everything that you needed. You got a high off of my attention. And what did I get? Bitterness. And it's like, I don't want that. So I don't even do that anymore. 60 minutes, you get one-on-one time with me, and it's not even a pitch. It's a full 60 minutes of what do you want to talk about? How can I help you move forward? And then after that, they're usually like, all right, well, I know I need you for at least 6 months. So what can we get into? And then that creates invitations for me that always feel good. But
Yeah.
getting on calls, objecting, how are you feeling? What are you going to talk to? Nah, none of that is for me. No.
So, Alexis, as we start to wind down, what would you say specifically to someone who doesn't want to be a part of those systems, but they're participating? What is the first thing that someone could look for in their day-to-day life that they could unsubscribe from?
The first thing you can unsubscribe from are all those emails that you get. I know Old Navy has emailed you at least 3 times today. Okay. I know that somebody is running a sale. Anytime, just open your email app and look at all of the different ways that you are being rushed simply in your email app. 24 hours to go, buy one, get one free, flash sale on this. Hurry up. When I launch this on Friday, only the first 4 people will get a freebie in their gift. Wherever you feel rushed, the second you open up your email app, unsubscribe from those emails. Don't buy on those flash sales. Because what happens when they're done with those flash sales? They'll be like, only 5 minutes left, ladies, only 5 minutes left. And then after the 5 minutes is done, then they reset the clock and they spend the next 4 hours selling the same thing. Check in with yourself when you're looking at things that make you feel rushed. Where do you feel it in your body? Does it feel good? What's the high? And if it's a high, that means you're addicted to it. Why are you addicted to it?
Literally unsubscribe.
Literally,
Alex,
that's it.
that's it. Alexis, where can we find you and support your work?
Yes. So on Instagram, you can find me at Lexi P Coaching. On TikTok, you can find me at Femme Frank Tank because I haven't changed that one yet. And then Threads is also connected to my Instagram where I talk a very large amount of shit is on Threads and sometimes on LinkedIn. But honestly, I've given up just a little bit on LinkedIn. They just a little bit boring over there for me sometimes. But Alexis Frank is where you can find me over there as well. And the fccoach.com is where you can find all of my programs, all of the ways that you can work with me, all of my podcast information, all of that stuff.
Closing remarks as we wrap up.
Goodness. None of this is real. Everything is made up. Do what you feel like doing today. Go tell someone to leave you alone. Go take a nap. Go fly a kite. Do whatever it is that you want to do that makes you happy because I promise you, the second that you start choosing yourself, that's when the money will flow in. That is when the spouse you've always wanted will find you. That's when the house you've always wanted to buy will find you. That's when the trip you've always wanted to take will manifest. Choose yourself, love yourself, and you will slowly start to see how the systems around you no longer survive on the back of your unhappiness because you're not unhappy anymore.
Thank you, Alexis.
Thank you so much.